Thanks for listening to King's Country. I'm Jim King of the Road. Stay with me for the King of the Road radio show. On the show, we feature exclusive interviews and concert footage captured right here in Southeast Texas. On tonight's show, we'll cruise back to Whiskey River in Beaumont to check out country legends John Conlee and Johnny Lee. Ride shotgun with me.
Extra large and turbocharged. It's the King of the Road show.
Oh, hi, to the guy.
One man has the power to take you behind the scenes. Jim King of the Road.
Jim King of the Road.
It's nice to be here with John Conlee tonight, huh? I catch myself listening to him a lot. We do a few shows together. He's got some great songs, and it's always good to be with John. It's great to be with y'all tonight. Picking up strangers, let me tell you about the danger. You never know what they're out to get from you. Never know what they're gonna try to do. Picking up strangers, let me tell you about the danger. Some are just common thieves, they say. Next thing you know, one will steal your heart away. Sometimes this old life seems like a highway, just keeps the road on and on. And on that highway, meet a lot of strangers, pass a lot of dangers on your way home. Picking up strangers, let me tell you about the danger. If you don't like taking chances, better keep moving on, my friend. Picking up strangers, let me tell you about the danger. Some are just common thieves, they said. Next thing you know, one will steal your heart away.
Johnny Lee, great to see you again.
Good to see you again, man.
It's been a couple of years, and I think the last time might have been right here at Whiskey River.
It was, and I have some very fond memories. I may have some jewelry on layaway in Beaumont somewhere. I don't know.
It's a very memorable night, and I know you do have a lot of fun at your shows, and you still got the pipes. You and John Conlee both. I mean, you guys sound like no different, or even maybe better than you did in the 80s.
It's a little bit easier now than it was in the 80s. You know, I was pretty hard to keep up with back then. I like to party a lot, you know.
Yeah.
A little bit of party goes a long way with me now, but John's got some great songs. He's always had some great songs. I love listening to him sing, you know, and thank you for the compliment.
You bet, man. I was brushing up on my John Conlee and Johnny Lee facts today, and I was amazed to find out that you guys were born a month apart. You know that?
I didn't realize that.
And not only that, but you
He
both...
older than me?
I think so, by 1 month.
I thought so. Yeah, I thought he looked a little older than me.
You were born in July?
Yeah.
He was born in August.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't say what year.
That's okay. And I was born in 1946. Man.
I know.
I never thought I'd live to be past 20. So it's all good with me.
Born and raised on a dairy farm.
I was born in Texas City, and the only reason I was born there because my mother had a choice of crossing her legs and holding out or going to a veterinarian when it was time for me to come. So thank goodness they took her to a hospital. Some are just common thieves, they say. Next thing you know, one will steal your heart away. Picking up strangers. Thank you. Let's do something up. Here's a song off one of my CDs. What's happening, dude? I'm gonna do that.
your mom still with us?
Oh, yeah. She lives in San Antonio.
Uh-huh.
And still have a great time. In fact, all of us kids, I have 5 other brothers and sisters, my stepbrothers and sisters. I don't like to call it that, though. But about a month ago, we played in the Bronzeville's. And so I had this big 4-bedroom penthouse thing over the Guadalupe River, you know. And so my mom had this neighbor lady of hers drive her to the show, you know. She would be my guest. I got a big table for her. And all my brothers and sisters showed up. That was the first time, like in 22 years, that we'd all been together. So we spent 4 days together there. 1 day past my limit. I usually do the fish rule on visiting family. 3 days, I'm out of there. But we had a great time. It was great to visit my mom, and even my old grumpy old brother said, "Man, I can't believe nobody got in an argument, 1 to 5." I said, "What? That was we were kids then."
Those were your partying days, right?
Well, we were kids, you know,
Yeah.
growing up together. You sibling rivalries or arguments, whatever. It's a great time, though.
Some of them carry over to adulthood.
Not with me, they don't.
No, you've already been there, you've done that, you've got all the accolades. I think you're also a Country Music Hall of Famer, if I'm not mistaken.
I am. I'm very proud of that. You know what? I was in the Hall of Fame, and I've got this real nice display case there. And this woman was standing there with her daughter. I don't know, she was about that tall. She had her arm up on her, and so the daughter says, "Who are all these people, Mom?" She said, "Well, they're all country music stars, and most of them are dead now." And I was standing behind them. I happened to overhear the conversation. I said, "I'm not dead." And that little girl turned around and seen me and looked at my picture, and she freaked her out, and she ran out the door. But I ended up talking to her and, you know, signing something for her. It was just kind of weird, you know. But the Hall of Fame in Carthage, Texas, the Texas Country Music Hall of Fame is really a special place. If you ever get a chance to go visit, it's a neat place.
Thanks again for listening to King's Country. It's the King of the Road radio show. I'm Jim King, and on tonight's show, we're checking out a couple of country legends at Whiskey River in Beaumont. We just heard from Johnny Lee, and here's John Conley.
Cruising in my station wagon, trying to keep the muffler from dragging. Sometimes it all seems so defeating as I'm hustling to make it to the Cub Scout meeting. Ooh, I dream about Mexico, where all the pretty people go. But we're on a budget that just won't buy. Not much money, but a whole lot of love. Living that domestic life, happy children and a pretty wife. Our Cocker Spaniels always having puppies. How could anybody be so lucky? See me mowing my domestic yard. Lord, I owe my soul to MasterCard, but it seems to suit me to a T. That domestic life's all right with me.
John Conley, great to see you again.
Thank you. Good to see you.
It's kind of like deja vu all over again because we just had Johnny Lee on the show, and the last time I spoke with you was that same show that Johnny Lee was at. It was at the Cattle Barons Ball in 2009 here in Beaumont.
Right. That's a while back. Johnny and I work together a couple times a year. Our paths cross and we get together and on the same show, and it's always a blast, always fun.
I was doing a little homework today. I did my bio check, and I was reading up on you guys. You were born almost exact same time, about a month apart.
Yeah. I was born in August of 1946. So
you guys are both 65, but no plans to retire yet.
Oh no, I don't know how to spell retire.
Yeah.
My role models in the age department are particularly one grandfather who lived to be 94, was still driving a bulldozer at 92, and he only learned to operate it when he got in his 50s sometime. So that's the way I'm conducting things. I hope to be able to go as that strong that long.
So you might be having #1 hits when you're 80 or 90.
That'd be all right, sure.
Yeah.
Well, Moses and Aaron were 80 in their 80s when they were dealing with Pharaoh, so it's, age is just a number.
How many people over 30 in the crowd? Anybody over 30? Yeah, I don't know. Several of you, good. I don't know where Gus is, but he should be raising both of his hands if he's here. All right, how many under 30? Anybody under 30? Yeah! Let me see, sir. I'm not so sure about you, but maybe you're under 30. You all were at one. I was too at one point in time. All right, if you're under 30, we're glad you're here too, but just remember this one detail. Your time is coming. That's just what I want you to remember. Here's a song about being on the backside. Making money at 30 with a wife and a son. Then a short 5 years later, it all comes undone. She's gone back to mama with the boy by her side. Now I'm wine drunk and running with them all on my mind. I'm on the backside of 30 and back on my own. An empty apartment don't feel like a home. On the backside of 30, the short side of time, back on the bottom with nowhere to climb.
Another thing you and Johnny Lee have in common is you both grew up on farms. You were on a tobacco farm, and he was on a dairy farm.
Yeah. Over the years growing up, of course, tobacco was always the main cash crop in Kentucky in those years. No longer is that true, but we did, like all other general farm operations, we did everything. We had, at one time, we had chickens, sold eggs door to door. We had sheep at one time, hogs most of the time, cattle all the time, and we still do that. Cutting hay and filling silos and combining wheat and baling hay, all those things,
So you grew up doing that. You're a hard-working man. You have a good work ethic in you.
All of my summers as a teenager were spent in the field, doing whatever.
I know you still live on a big farm. Do you get out there and do sweat in the sun and do labor and everything?
When I'm home, I'm in work clothes most of the time, either on the farm, in the garden, and I do most of the maintenance on my bus. I do almost all of my own. I do all my own oil changing, greasing, and most of the fixing on it. So.
Hey, everybody, tell everybody that old JC's in town. Got $1.25, just raring to clown. But don't let nobody play me cheap. I got 50 cents or more than I'm gonna keep. Good times roll. Let the good times roll. He's been working all week. He's got mental fatigue. And that old cow sure looks fine. All week he's been gone. She's been sitting alone, slowly going out of her mind. As he kicks off his shoes for the 6 o'clock news, she's getting all prettied up. She's one to boogie, and he wants to lay there, and she's got the Friday night blues. Oh, those Friday night blues, they get in your shoes, and they work to get you down. I bet there ain't a lady that I ever knew who didn't need her a night on the town. But the hills and the bills and a week full of deals has got him feeling you. While he's kicking his shoes off, she's putting hers on, 'cause she's got the Friday night blues.
It's a pretty well-known fact that you actually were a mortician before you became a singer. Well, actually, you started singing, I think, when you were 10 years old, but at some time in your adult life, you became a mortician. A lot of job security there, but not so much in the country music business. What made you change?
Well, I had planned out of high school to go to college and go into broadcasting. That was another love of mine that developed in me at the same time music did. And really going into the funeral profession was a little bit of a diversion. I started working part-time at a local funeral home when I was in high school because my best friend was there all the time, and he talked about it, got me interested in it. And I, lo and behold, got interested enough to do it full-time. Got my licenses, spent 6 years altogether, but I still had, I was at a turning point. I either go on into the funeral profession, try to own somewhere, or I found I still had that old itch for broadcasting. So I said, well, this is the time to try radio if I'm ever going to. And that's what led me to Nashville, a job in broadcasting.
Did you do like the morning drive show?
Yeah. I did it. Like everybody else in radio, I was everything from janitor to general manager at various places. But yeah, morning drive was the main thing I worked most of the time in it.
It's probably AM station at the time.
Well, AM and I was on the air most of the time on FM. When I moved to Nashville, I went to anchor a news block in the morning. I read news for 4 hours every morning on AM. And then when we took the AM station to rock and roll, changed the format, I went to FM and started playing easy listening stuff on FM.
Well, what a great place to make contacts there in Nashville when you're talking to all the country stars that were there at the time.
Too many times I didn't try to hold you.
Thanks for listening to King's Country at kingscountry.net. I'm Jim King. I hope you enjoyed our exclusives with country legends John Conley and Johnny Lee. Join us next week for another edition of the King of the Road Show, where we feature exclusive interviews and concert footage recorded right here in Southeast Texas. Oh, and keep it between the ditches.